Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everybody. So I tried to go live this morning. That was a disaster. Driving, I lost service, my phone got hot, so a whole bunch of stuff happened. But what I want to talk about today is the power of influence. What is influence? Because sometimes we get that definition misconstrued. And influence is simply who and what shapes your thoughts and your decisions and your actions. And it could be people like your friends, your family, your friends, and guess what else? Social media. Okay. The news sometimes. I mean, it's quite a few avenues that will, influence us. So we have to be careful what we listen to and discard. It goes back to what I said a while ago when I said that we have to pick and choose, take every thought captive, keep what's beneficial, throw away what's not beneficial to you. So it doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter how big, a person can be easily influenced by the things that are around them. That's why the Bible tells us not to get it twisted. If you hang around people long enough, you will become like them. People hang in the wrong places, do the wrong things, you will adapt to that situation. We're adaptable creatures by nature. So while we go through life, we have to use our discernment. It's critical for us to evaluate the credibility and the motives of the people that we are around, that we listen to, that we allow to impose their views on us. Okay? And what we don't pay attention to, what we don't deem as a bad influence, is when people sow negativity. Sometimes we high five negativity. Can you imagine? And this is what we see. We see this every day. People high fiving the negativity of others. Somebody will call you a rat faced goat, and everybody's high fiving and stuff, not thinking about the effect it'll have on that person, even though you can't see how it hurts and bothers them. And a lot of times, a lot of stuff I've seen happen on here, people act like it don't bother them, but it does, because if it didn't, you wouldn't retaliate in the ways that you do. You're not. You would just nix it off. I mean, that you would take that thought captive, realize it's coming from a negative place, and throw it away. But we don't do that. Some people don't. They hold on to it and they retaliate, and it becomes a big mess when you do that. Sometimes those who lack experience or credibility in areas that they speak on are bad influences, meaning you can quote something out the Bible and be dead wrong. Now, we're all guilty of having a misunderstanding of some things, but if you're constantly doing it, you got do your research before you get up here and quote something out of the Bible. Do your research, at least, so you know the minimal. Okay. I heard someone quoting or mentioning something in the Bible today that's just not accurate, and I was like, wow, if someone else who does not read listen to that, and because people have like a lot of people following, and that's another thing, right? Let's address this real quick. Just because there's a lot of people listening, there's a lot of people responding, does not mean that they're good influences. Okay? That does not mean that. It just means that there's a lot of people listening and a lot of people responding. Some of the things that said have no value whatsoever. However, it is spread. And some of it like wildfires. Okay? I when you listen to people, You got to understand that sometimes they speak from their own perspectives, their own experiences, their own motives. And so you got to ask yourself, why are they giving me this advice? What's their goal in giving me this advice? So if somebody comes to you and gossip, what's their goal in telling you that information? If somebody's telling you how you should live, what you should do, how you should do it, who you should do it with, who you should not do it with, what is the purpose of them giving you that advice? Just because somebody's popular and just because they're confident does not mean they are right. And you got to ask yourself, are they experienced? Are they knowledgeable in the stuff that they're saying to you? The stuff that they're speaking about? A lot of times they're not. A lot of times people spread to you what they think and not what they know. And so you know what that means, right? Not all advice is meant for us. Okay? Not all advice is meant for us. You got to avoid people who constantly spread fear and doubt and negativity. Oh my God. You know what that negativity does, right? It leads to self-doubt. And a lot of times people spread negativity so you can have self-doubt. Calling people names. Okay? Now listen, I'm not speaking to you like I've never done it. I'm speaking to you like I learned my lesson from doing it. I'm not saying to you that I don't think it. I'm saying to you, I don't let it come out of my mouth. Just as a man speaketh, so is he. It means if you speaking these negative things about people, it just means that you're a negative person. Okay? I mean, I don't understand. People can use whatever they want to do with their mouth, they can do with it. People can use their mouth however they want to use it. But don't get mad at me if I say you're using it in a negative way and it's going to hurt people or it's going to disrupt people or it's going to, I mean, people, listen, the power of life and death is in the tongue. That doesn't always mean a physical death. I mean, it could lead to that. But I mean, you could kill somebody's spirit, kill their self-esteem with the things that we say out of our mouth. And the sad part is that we'll be okay with it. You'll do that to somebody and be okay with it. I witnessed at one time that I was on my job and I witnessed two associates arguing and going back and forth with each other. Right? They're in my office and they're arguing. I stay out of it because y'all know me. I mind my own business. Okay? But they were going back and forth at it. I mean, they were calling each other all sorts of names. They were mad at each other because they got paid two different pay rates. One was doing one job. One was operating under one job description. The other one was operating under another job description. However, they were at the same job. So they were upset because they weren't getting paid. The one that was getting paid less was upset that they weren't getting paid what the skilled person was getting paid. So, you know, they got mad and they start arguing with each other, going back and forth, which I mean, neither one of them had control over the pay rate. They was just angry. Okay. Which is first, they didn't even think to understand that they were arguing with each other over something that neither one of them had control over. You hear that? They were arguing with each other over something that neither one of them had control over. Okay? And they were dogging each other out too, about to in their face, each other's face, about to fight, calling each other names, one talking about somebody's shoes, the other one talking about them. Now listen, they're both in the same place, getting a job from the same place. But they're arguing. They're tearing each other down. I mean, tearing each other down. All right? After the one left, the other one sat in that lobby and cried her eyes out. And she said to me, she said, it reminded her of when she was a child and she was bullied. It reminded her. Now the whole time they're arguing, I mean, she's going back and forth. She's going back. She's giving it, lighting the other person up too. She didn't have the sense to digress and let it go. Okay, before it got to the point where she would be hurt and be to the point where she's sitting in my office and she's crying because what that person said tore her down. And the reason why it tore her down is because she was prideful. I mean, she wasn't always in this condition. She was here because she had to be. She was at the job because she had to be. You know, she lost her job. She had to make ends meet for her children. She was out here hustling, trying to get what she could get. And that person broke her all the way down. So was it worth it? Was it worth it for her to indulge? Was it worth it for her to do the same thing? Now, the person that left, I don't know if she went through the same thing, because some people can hurt other people's feelings and sleep good at night. They're okay. They have no convictions about tearing other people down. They can do it and go to sleep, and they're happy to tell you that. Okay? But those type of people, I think, hurt people. When you get immune to being hurt, it's nothing for you to hurt somebody else and think nothing of it. If you're going to call yourself a leader and guide people, then you have to, I think, live under a certain, I guess you got to live under a certain guideline when it comes to how you deal with them. And I'll say guideline for lack of a better term right now. If you're going to be a person that's going to uplift people, then you have to be around positivity. You can't be around negativity. You got to seek out people and places and things that are positive. Otherwise, when you go into those environments where it's nasty and mean and hurtful, then you're susceptible to do it. For the life of me, I can't understand why if somebody says something about you, you hold it so close to your heart that you allow it to affect you. When broken people try to break people, I refuse to allow a broken person to break me. Okay? I just refuse to. And after what I experienced in life, name calling, all that stuff, and what somebody has to say means absolutely nothing. I've experienced the worst loss. Okay? And if I can get through that, I'm sure enough not going to worry about what somebody else has to say. Sometimes we got to pay attention to this too. Do their actions match their advice? No. Nope. You ever hear people say, I'll come in peace. I'll come in peace. But then they start yapping the negativity. Or they start trying to tell you how to live after they done done that. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop talking about people. Well, wait a minute. Didn't you just talk about people like a dog? And everybody was cheering you on and high-fiving you. And now when it happens to you, then the people that did it to you becomes, guess the favorite word on the internet, demons. Start calling them demons. That's a whole nother subject when we talk about that. But yeah, they start calling people demons. Now you're a demon because you done did back to me what I done did to you. Okay. So guess what? Maybe, just maybe, you influenced those people to do what they did to you by doing what you did to them. How about that? Maybe that's what it is. So my advice would be to you guys is this. If you're going to influence properly. Don't get up here and make fools of ourselves. Listen, I done did it too. Don't get around here and make fools of yourselves by saying things that are inaccurate, quoting things that are inaccurate, acting like a fool on the internet, and then do it in the name of leadership. Because boy, oh boy, You have to be mindful of how people you listen to make you feel. Just because somebody's loud and popular and persistent does not mean their opinion deserves your attention. That means you don't have to go looking for it unless you just like trouble. And some of us do like trouble. Now, I'll always say us because I'm not saying that I'm above these things. I'm going to tell you that I work hard not to be involved in those things because I don't want to be a victim of it, and I don't want somebody to be a victim of me doing it. Where I grew up in the city, we minds our business anyway, for the most part. You don't go around telling people's business. You don't go around arguing with people for no reason. I'm not trying to prove to nobody that I'm better than they are, that I can fight better than they can, that my hair is better than theirs, that my clothes is better than theirs, that my man is better than theirs, and all this stupid shit. I don't do none of that. Okay, why? Because what does it matter? Especially on this internet when you don't even know the people that you're talking to. You don't know them. You just see a picture of them most of the time. You see a good picture. Like every day, my hair ain't straight. Sometimes when I put this camera on, and I'm a dark skinned chick. I'm dark. Okay, not medium dark. I'm dark. Okay. If I put this camera on without the proper lighting, I look black as an ace of spades. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my complexion. I ain't mad at it at all. I'm a dark sister, and I'm okay with that. But I'm just saying, we get on here, and sometimes none of our pictures are flattering, but yet we'll get on here and post the best picture of ourselves on here and start talking about somebody else. All in the name of influence, content creating. What kind of content are you creating when you do that? Negative content creating. We get on here and we spread misinformation, promote hate, post personal attacks on people. Then we'll get up there and put a clickbait up there for everybody to come and see you do those exact things. We provoke people into anger and then complain about the consequences of that provoking rather. Is it provocation? Provoking. Share people's personal business. Use harmful stereotypes. And deliberately try to damage somebody's reputation. Yet we call it content creation and influencing. I don't even think that this is something that can be fixed overnight. You know what I mean? Oh, of course it's not. It's not something that can be fixed overnight. But if you listen to this, it's definitely something that you can work on to prevent yourself from doing this to other people. Like, if you're okay with it, you're going to keep doing it. But if you're not, then hopefully it brings this negativity to people's attention and they stop doing that to each other. There's so many positive things that you can talk about out there. So many positive. Now listen, on both sides, I've heard women speak intelligently. I've seen where they are capable and able to make content that would be very informative to others, to build each other up. But instead, I mean, it's a choice to go out there and tear somebody down, and that's what I have a problem with. especially perpetuating a negative stereotype about people based on how they look. Posting information about people without fact checking. And you know what? If it's personal information, it's called personal for a reason. Y'all say things that implement a shock value so big that you get everybody's attention. We get on here with the intention to harm people, and then when they are harmed and it happens back to you, because sometimes we deal with the consequences of our actions. You ever heard, well, the Bible says, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. It means you cut somebody, they're going to cut you back. If you don't want to be cut, don't cut people. Don't get on here and don't get on the internet and embarrass people and hurt people and then expect that it's not going to happen to you. It's sad. It's kind of sad to watch, especially women our age. Can we actually get on the internet and engage with one another without the harsh criticism? Without the overwhelming negativity? Can we get on here and actually love on people or show them some love? It doesn't matter what side they're on. I still don't believe in that side thing. I think you treat people how you want to be treated. I don't care who they are. Some of us are mad at people because somebody else is mad at them. And then when a person tries to implement peace, you get mad at that person. Y'all talk about people, kids, talk about their house, talk about their man, talk about their mama, talk about their daddy. I mean, I heard y'all talking about the babies. Like, come on, man. I don't care how much you don't talk to somebody. Are you really okay with putting your mouth on babies? Are you really okay with that? That blows my mind. Yet you want respect. Or guess what? You get the negative respect. You're not going to get the respect of a positive person. I've seen people get on the internet and start a war and then try to pray the person out of it. That blew my mind. There was no fairness in their actions, starting trouble, and then try to pray for them. I was like, what is that? It's time for us to grow up. I always, like I said, say us, because I'm far from perfect. I am far from perfect. But I refuse to get myself on here and do all of this stuff. I won't say nothing. Talk about me all you want. I'm not saying nothing because I'm not broken. There's nothing about me that needs to prove anything to anybody. Nothing. I'm okay with me. I'm okay with my flaws. I'm okay with the things that I've been through. I'm okay with the things I'm going to go through. I'm okay with whatever you got to say. I'm okay with it because I know it's not me. I pick and choose what I want to absorb in my life. And then I'm going about my business. That's why you don't see me out here. I done been talked about like a dog. You don't see me out here when you said this about me and you said that about me. I just know to stay away from you, because if I indulge, if I respond to you, then I know that nastiness is going to come from you. So why would I associate myself with that? I don't go listen. If you're talking about me, I ain't going to listen to it. Why would I go listen to it? If you're talking about somebody else that I don't want to hear about, I'm not going to go listen to that either. I'm going to act just like you don't exist, or that situation or what you said does not exist. I refuse to put myself in a predicament where I'm going to set myself up to get my feelings hurt. But some of us so nosy, we want to know what they done said so we can get our get back. Your get back is not getting back. Okay? Go on about your business. I done heard some of the worst things about me. And I pick and choose. Is that true? Mm-mm. Are you gonna make me feel some type of way about me? Mm-mm. Nope. Especially when it's coming from people who are no better than you. I know that hurt people. I mean, just to get online and just go and start just talking nasty and bad about people just because you don't like them. That's ridiculous to me. As grown-ups, now I remember in elementary school we used to call people all sorts of things. I remember I used to step on cracks thinking it was gonna break their mama back when they made me mad. Next day they ain't come there and say nothing happened to their mama, so I'm like, well, dang, that ain't work, you know. I remember that, so that was in elementary school though. As I got older, and I've always kind of like been a loner, not really associated with a lot of people. And I had friends or whatever, but how I dealt with them was, you know, I never had a lot of people in my house and things like that. That was just never me. When I was married, I never had a lot of women over, whenever, always about my business or whatever. I used to read a lot, more than I do now, but I used to read a lot. And so that was just like my thing, reading. And it kept me out of trouble. Like now, I'm going on about my business and do things that keep me away from the negativity on this internet. It ain't cute. It is not cute. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of, talk about influences and what it does to us. We are influenced to do the wrong thing. People who wouldn't normally say anything are now out here windmilling and saying stuff that they know better than to say. I see people who complained about what people did to them, what certain people did to them. Now they've joined them and doing it to somebody else. Make that make sense. I just can't. It's unbelievable. So yeah, why I challenge people to just for a week, 1 week, stop arguing with the people they were arguing with, and just focus on some positive stuff on their panel. I challenge them to do that. Well, let's see what happens. I gotta get out of this office, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good afternoon.